When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Hello and welcome everyone to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited today. We got a big dog agent here. I'm going to be talking to today, Andrew Franklin from Houston, Texas. If you're from Texas, you probably already know this guy and his company. But if not, I'll give you just a little info. I know his business has been going for 40 years. His father, Jimmy Franklin, started it there about 40 years ago. And his sister, Sarah, and himself, bought the business about 8 or 9 years ago. But here's what's impressive. They sold 1,665 homes last year and $600 million in volume with a team of only 15 or 20. So we're going to learn a lot from Andrew today, and I'm pretty excited to have him on the podcast. Welcome to our podcast today, Andrew.
Hey, Andre, good to be here, man. I'm excited to be here. Glad you could fit me in, and excited to give all what we're doing, and glad to answer any questions off the podcast as well.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to jump in and just put them in the chat box here, and we'll ask Andrew. But let's just jump right in and tell us a little bit about your background. I understand you were on Wall Street as an M&A investor banker a while back. Just kind of share a little bit of your background and about your real estate business.
Yeah, so I grew up in the business per se because my dad was a real estate agent before I was born. And he sort of always tried to talk me out of going into real estate. He didn't graduate college and sort of fell into it and thought the realtor was eventually going to be sort of like the travel agent and defunct at some point. And so he talked to me about business and money and investing, and I was always focused on getting good grades and getting into a good college, which I was lucky enough to do. And some of my fraternity brothers were doing investment banking. Basically, it was the quickest way to work as hard as you could work and make the most amount of money when you graduated college. And so I liked some finance classes. I liked the idea of making a bunch of money early in my life. And so I started doing investment banking in San Francisco, then moved to our New York City office, and then eventually moved firms to get to Texas. But I was doing all M&A investment banking. So a company would come to our firm, we would market, come up with, what the company was worth, and then market to strategic and financial buyers to help those entrepreneurs sell. And then probably 20% of the time, a company would come to us and want to acquire other companies, and we'd help that process as well. So that's what I did the first 6 or so years of my adult life.
All right, nice. So a lot of great financial background for sure, and then that led you right into getting into real estate with your dad, huh?
Yeah. So, I graduated in 2008, and that was my dad's first year, I guess, in 30 plus years at the time, maybe 25 plus years at the time, and that he went down in production. He still did over 100 million, but he went down like most people. And so it was definitely not the right timing for me to get into it. And at that time in 2008, when I graduated, I had a job to go on to Wall Street in 2007. So I had a job my whole senior year that I was just waiting to graduate. So I never really considered real estate, but as I was working and grinding and working 100 hours a week and seeing what my bosses would do for 30 years, traveling, started having those conversations when I would be at home with my dad and eventually, what really happened, there wasn't some grand plan. Our investment bank sort of screwed everyone over on a bonus. And in investment banking, a lot of what you get paid is that year-end bonus. And so I was starting to toy around getting into real estate, but once they did that on the bonus to everyone in the investment bank, I waited until that number hit my bank account, and 2 weeks later, the day it hit my bank account, I came in and quit and moved from Dallas to Houston without a real estate license. My dad put me on a draw because I had bills to pay, and basically got my license in 4 days and started working for him shortly thereafter.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So what was your father's business look like at that point when you joined? Did he have a small team? Was it his own independent company? Were you out of franchise?
Yeah, good question. So then he always remained pretty small as far as numbers. So it's him and 3 or 4 agents. He was heavy in production. He was still going on listing appointments, but at that time he was living in the hill country and, around Austin and San Antonio. So he would come in every 2 weeks and do his listing appointments, but his clients and people wouldn't even know he wasn't living in Houston. So he was trying to pull the sort of semi-retired life, get all his appointments in, had a really good staff to help him with doing that. But 4 agents besides him, I think 150 million he was doing, but still heavy in production. And not really wanting to grow per se. Like he was happy where he was at, trying to tool things down. And when, my first year, I was just a realtor on the team. So just started to, learn, my first deal was a lease on a Saturday to an NFL player, like a $1,200 lease, ex-NFL player. So I was heavy into production. Buyers, sellers, leases. And then about a year in, it was clear that we were going to take over. We were going to buy the business and still was in production for a number of years later, but sort of running the day-to-day while he was still around and involved. But we were officially the owners. We were paying him monthly to own the business. And we were making the decisions on hiring and firing and where to spend money and what direction the company was growing, probably after a year of me having the license.
All right, nice. What are some of the things that you and your sister did right away to start really growing your business to where you are today?
So we realized my dad had done a very good job with builder relationships. So home builders is sort of our niche. And my dad was mostly focused on one area of Houston, West Houston. And what we realized was we could take exactly what he was doing and replicate it to other parts of Houston. But we would need to recruit agents. And so we quickly went from 4 agents to 10 agents. That helped our growth. We started, doing other parts of Houston. And then we started really looking at what my dad was doing and seeing what could be improved on. Like we didn't have a CRM. We didn't really touch our database all that frequently. And then really my background in finance, we started really looking at the P&L and really running the business on the P&L. And my dad did very well and made a lot of money. And for 99.99999% of people, he ran a great business, and probably 100% of people, he ran a great business. But there were things that could be improved on the financial aspects that we, having a fresh set of eyes, looked at a little differently. And so we started making a lot of tweaks, improvements, and additions to the business to drive that growth forward.
All right, nice. Yeah, your father built a great business, and all those years, I obviously people recognize the name, and you guys just took that and added to it, and just brought things to the next level. So now, were you with your own independent company or a different franchise or?
So my dad started his career at Century 21 for 3 years, and then we were Remax for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
A number of those years, he was a Remax franchise owner, but I think he sold that franchise to his partner in 2000. So I guess the last 18 years, because we came to EXP September of 2018, the last 18 years, we were just a team within a franchise, a team within a Remax franchise. We did not have ownership.
Okay. All right. So you were the team within Remax, but at that point, about how big was your team and about how many, units and stuff were you doing before looking at EXP when you were Remax?
So our last, we'll just call it 2018 because 9 of our months was at Remax, and obviously anything we did at EXP was, because of what we did there.
Right.
So probably 800 deals, a couple $100 million, 250 maybe. And so we just passed our 4th year anniversary, and we've tripled the company, tripled the production since we came to EXP.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's some huge growth.
Yeah, man. And I can attribute it to a lot of different things, but my biggest thing is because of the financial situation in the model at EXP, it allows me to build relationships with guys like you, right? You were friendly enough with your time to help us grow our business when I had some questions on some things that you were successful in. And those kind of conversations didn't exist when I was at Remax. Not because people weren't willing to share. It just didn't have that financial alignment piece, and it wasn't set up to reach out to people in other markets and pick their brain and get on their schedule for an hour. If I was going to, meet someone at Remax, it would have been one of the yearly conferences, and there was no other reason for us to build the kind of relationships that we've been able to build at EXP. And so I can attribute a lot of our growth just to learning from other people at EXP, and people not just willing to share like, hey, I do builder business. No, hey, I do builder businesses. This is how I do it. And here's my playbook, and here's the materials I have. So it's just sharing at another level here.
Yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from. The relationships are key. And obviously it's because of the financial alignment, right, that we all have as we help. Hey, if I can help you, grow your ISA business in Houston, even though we're not anywhere connected whatsoever, except we're within the same company. But as you go from 800 to over 1,600 homes, and our stocks continue to go up, and the value of the company, well, we're all owners and we all win. So yeah, it's a pretty fantastic model. Well, before you guys looked at EXP, were you looking at doing something different? You're already doing 800 transactions. Obviously, that's top 1% in the nation. What made you take a look at EXP?
Yeah, so they say, and I'll probably mess up on the stat, but they say most people move in pain, right? 7, 8 out of 10 people move in pain. We did not move in pain. We were very happy where we were. Things were going great. We had a number of ancillary businesses that were very successful while we were at Realty. Actually, just one, but it was getting going and successful. And so we were not in pain at all. And we also were not leaving Remax to go to EXP. We were leaving Remax to figure out where we were going. So we had made a decision that we were going to leave Remax. On a random coaching call with my first ever real estate coach, I told him we were leaving Remax and we didn't know where we were going to go. But we had made up our mind that the 90 to 100 grand we were paying Remax with everything, desk fees and splits and all that stuff, just didn't add up to the value that of the 90 or 100 grand. My mom was a broker. My dad was a broker. So if anything, we were going to go independent just to save that 90 to 100 grand. And on that coaching call with Fred Weaver, I told him we were leaving Remax. He told me they were leaving Keller Williams, and they were a top 20 Keller Williams team in the country in Gary Keller's inner circle. I respected them. Like I said, my first ever coach, I'd probably been coaching with him for maybe a year at that point. And he said, we're leaving Keller Williams to go to EXP. You should look at EXP. And I said, sounds good. I'll go check out if I can buy a EXP franchise. That's how little I knew. And a couple months later, we were at EXP. So,
what was the top 2 or 3 things that you looked at that really made you make the decision that EXP was going to be the best platform for you, over and above going independent?
We had another partner in another market that tried to send us a slide deck on EXP like 3 or 4 years ago. And just the way he approached it, we never really looked at it. So kicking myself on that. But really, because it was someone I respected and they were making a big move from Keller Williams to EXP, I was very open-minded. And so when I can't remember the initial conversation of what was said, but I remember a follow-up conversation where we had on Zoom, where it was me, Kevin, and Fred, which is Fred's business partner, Kevin Kaufman, and then Curtis Johnson was on a Zoom. And he, at the time, this was June of 2018, because that's when Kevin and Fred made the move. And we were talking to them before they made the move. So it's probably maybe in May. Curtis had been at the company for 5 months at that time, and he was already making $30,000 a month in revenue share. Wow. And he was super successful team, but we sold more real estate than Curtis. And so I was like, $30,000 a month or $30,000 a month in 5 months. And I've never got a dime back from Remax. In no way I could ever get a dime back unless I wrote a check to be a franchise owner and all the stuff that entails about being a franchise owner. And so even if I'm a fifth as successful as Curtis, if I'm able to make $30,000 a month in 5 years, it took him 5 months, then I would consider that a pretty good move for me. So once I saw that, that was really the thing. I didn't care about the stock. We never had collaboration or culture at Remax, so I didn't think about that. So it was all revenue share for us. But once we got into the company and made a bunch of money on the stock, helped grow our business with the collaboration, like some of the things I had no clue about are just as cool, if not cooler, than the revenue share. But at the end of the day, we came for the revenue share.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Now, you said you have a lot of ancillary services. You had one with Remax. Now I think you have 3 or 4. Yep. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's all about multiple streams of income. And obviously that's one of the big things you saw about with EXP and having that extra multiple streams of income. Tell us a little bit about your ancillary services and how people can do that.
Yeah, so we had just started. My dad had ownership in a title company, but it was very passive, and he sent his business and he got some shares out of it. And while we were still at Remax, I started shopping that deal. Again, we weren't in pain, but I consider myself more of an entrepreneur than I do a real estate person. It just so happens now real estate is my vehicle to entrepreneurship. But I started shopping that deal. I think my dad he was probably sending 15 deals a month to this title company, and his ownership in the title company was giving him about $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. So not bad at all. Better than zero, like most realtors get from title companies, but also not life-changing. And the agreement we had with my dad was, if we got more shares or did anything else, we would be able to get the upside on top of that. So when we bought the business, he kept the $80,000 or so he was getting. And as we grew the Franklin team, our sales business, the title company kept selling me more and more shares, which me and my sister were able to to keep that those additional shares based on the agreement we had with my dad. But I still started, the numbers got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I started thinking like, okay, let me go to other title companies to see if I can grow this even more. And what I came to the conclusion was I had a pretty good deal where I was at. So if I wanted to make more money, I had to start my own title company, which is what we ended up doing. And that was probably a year before we came to EXP, if I remember correctly. That company now has been around for about 5 years. We have 4 locations. We're going to net more money in title than we do in the sales business. And so once I got that taste with the ancillaries, I started attending more. I started realizing because of EXP that there's a lot of smart people in this industry around the country. So I started attending more events and masterminds and paying to be in masterminds. And because of that, I got introduced to hard money lending. Now that's a big business for us as well. Then because of hard money lending, we got into real estate investing. Because of real estate investing, we started a property management business. So really EXP sort of opened my eyes to how cool real estate was and how you could grow it in a bunch of different facets, especially if you had that core real estate sales business doing well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have 4 or 5 businesses going all at once, including your rocking real estate team. So congratulations for all your success. I know we only got a few more minutes because you have another appointment to run to. What is your vision for your business as far as the real estate side? Where do you think you'll be, in a year or 2 or 3 with your current real estate team?
So everything, our team knows this. We're on something called Entrepreneurial Operating System. And if anyone's listening doesn't know what EOS is, I would strongly recommend reading Rocket Fuel and Traction, books by Gino Wickman and a few other guys. And so part of EOS is determining what your 10-year goal is. They call it a BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. And so everyone in our organization knows that our BHAG is to sell 5,000 homes in a year. And so within 10 years, I think we're a year or so into that goal. And so everything we're doing is about growing the sales business to sell more homes. And it's not just about selling more real estate because we want to get bigger. But what we've realized is the bigger we get as a company, the more opportunity we give to those people in our world. And so we've already noticed that. We've had people that have we had someone that came in as a business development rep, and then she got promoted to VP of operations, and then she's now the president of our company. And none of that would have been possible if when she came in as a business development rep, we were the same size. We wouldn't have been able to afford to have her on as a president or VP of ops. And so our goal to sell 5,000 homes is all to give our people more opportunity. So everything we're doing from systems to recruiting to hiring is all about scaling. And so that's what we're doing. So we went from 15 to 20 people when we were at Remax to now we have 35 agents of over 50 people. This time next year, we'll probably have 50 agents, if not more, and additional support staff to support those agents. So that's really where we're driving to.
That's fantastic. So it looks like obviously you're looking to scale your business. So if there are any agents out there from Houston there listening that wants to talk to you about joining your team or what that would look like, how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so we try to be pretty loud on social media in a good way, as well as on the internet. So you could Google the Franklin team in Houston, and that would be the best way to find us. All of our information is on our website. We do a weekly informational on how it's like to be on our team, and so any agents interested could come to that informational. But yeah, we're always looking for talent. Real estate is all about people and finding talent, and we're constantly adding new talent that fits our world.
All right, fantastic. Just a couple of really quick questions. If you could have done it all differently, as far as moving to EXP, what would you have done different?
I would say anything I would do differently is be open-minded in any opportunity. I think a big reason for our growth and our success is just realizing that there are other smart people out there, and there are other ways that might be better than where we're doing it. Once I took that mentality, because of the person I trusted and trusted their business, I was open-minded enough. But EXP is just another opportunity, right? It's an amazing platform where you can grow, and don't believe what other people in your people in your brokerage are telling you one thing because they want you to stay. And so the biggest piece of advice I would give anyone in any business is be open-minded enough to do the research yourself and then come to a conclusion, because that business opportunity could change your life. EXP has changed our life. I just wish I was here sooner.
Yeah, I asked that question to everyone at the end, and 9 out of 10 times, most people say, I wish I would have joined sooner. A lot of them have heard about it before, but like yourself, didn't take the time to really dig into it. But once you do, it's hard to, I think Jay Kinder says, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah, that was so true.
Thanks for your time today, Andrew. I really appreciate it. I'm sure I'll see you at one of the next live events. And thanks for being on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Thanks,
man. Thanks for all your help as well on that other topic. I appreciate you.
Yep, my pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, have a good day. Bye-bye. Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
What I love most about our group, the alignment, the fact that I am aligned with some of the top producers in the world and can pick their brain any second of the day, has been absolutely incredible for my business and has taken it to the next level. And I have to account it to alignment.
My favorite thing about the FFF group is just being surrounded by people with the same mentality as us that are striving for something better and building a better long-term plan for themselves.
My favorite part is the support. I can't tell you how many top producers have just kind of dropped what they're doing and supported us in a big way when we've had any kind of curveballs or compliance issues or any kind of new experience. Everyone within our group is just willing to give, and that's probably the best part about our Financial Freedom Group.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10, 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our life. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below, and let's have a conversation.